bloody new money because I don't want it. What's wrong with it? No, I want the old. Why? Oh, no, I don't want it.
The UK likes to bang on about how the pound sterling is the oldest currency still in use on the planet. And while that is true, it's only kind of half true. The modern British pound, made up of 100 pennies, only came into usage in 1971, which isn't that long ago in reality. Prior to this, the pound did exist, but it wasn't simply made of 100 pennies. Instead, it was made up of 20 shillings, and a single shilling was worth 12 pennies, meaning the pound was worth 240 pennies. On top of this, single pennies can be broken into things like halves and quarters too. Are you starting to understand why it all got so confusing they just changed it to 100 pennies instead? And to make matters more confusing, the coins the UK used to represent various amounts of pounds, shillings and pennies had weird old-fashioned names too, which sounded like things straight out of a fairy tale. Seriously, I'm shocked that was only a few decades before I was born. People are still using coins with names like a farthing, a groat and a 2-bob bit. So why don't we look into where exactly these dumb old British money names came from? Seemingly, the coin worth the smallest amount back in the day was a farthing. The farthing was worth just 1/4 of a penny. Even back then, that wouldn't get you too much. This name relates to the fact it was worth just 1/4 of a penny. Initially, the word would have been fourthling, as was the fourth of a coin. This came from the Anglo-Saxon fourthling, which also meant the same thing, and eventually it was corrupted into just farthing. There was also a quarter farthing coin produced at some points in time, which was worth 1/4 of a farthing. That's about 1/16 of an actual penny. Yeah, that's not much at all. And of course, if you're wondering, farthing, penny farthing, the city bicycle, the big wheel and the small wheel, that's where it comes from. We'll talk about penny in a moment, but thought I'd cover that here quickly. The next coin's name is more interesting when said aloud, as opposed to just being read. When read, it looks like the word halfpenny, which is exactly how much this coin was worth, half a penny. But it's not actually said like halfpenny. It is instead pronounced as halfpenny, which is actually a rare case of a silent F, something that doesn't happen too much in English, especially these days as the halfpenny isn't used anymore. It most likely received this strange pronunciation from people saying it quickly across various languages in the UK. I could imagine that like, oh, you got a halfpenny, 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 halfpenny. It's understandable. You just imagine people just bartering and communicating with merchants quickly. Halfpenny becoming halfpenny. It makes sense. But there's a really weird coin as well. It was the 3 halfpenny, which was worth 3 halfpence, or a penny and a half, I suppose. Like, there must have been some scenario where you needed a penny and a half, and that coin catered to it. And we can't have a 99p coin anymore. I think we should have a 99p coin because most things are 99p anyway. Yeah, if we could have a 3.5 or 1.5 pence coin, we can have a 99 pence coin, I think. I think we could do that. Finally, we have a coin which was simply worth 1 whole penny, and it was just called a penny. This is a word that has persevered in not just British currencies, but in other currencies too, just to denote one singular little coin. I think in America they call the 1 cent coin a penny as well. The problem with the word penny, however, is that we aren't entirely sure where it comes from. This is just one of those ancient words we've been using for so long that its true origins are seemingly unknown to us, which is annoying for this video because the word penny and pence pop up quite a bit in it. The next 3 coins also have pretty uninspired names. They were called the 3p, the 4p and the 6p, named because that's how much each of them were worth. The 3p was also seen as being worth 1/4 of a shilling, and the 6p was seen as being worth half a shilling. The 3p, however, was also known as a threepence, another name that would have come about due to people saying it quickly in various British accents. While these names aren't too interesting, they do thankfully have some more interesting nicknames. But before we look into those nicknames, I need to talk about Patreon. I'm talking a lot about Patreon at the moment. This is completely unscripted, this bit, so let's just see how it goes. Patreon is the best way to financially help support Name Explain. You can donate just $1 a month and get ad-free videos, exclusive content, and a chance to say what names are explained here on the channel, and your name at the end of all of these videos. I've been really promoting Patreon recently, almost a month ago now. I released a big video talking about how important Patreon is going to be for Name Explain going forwards, and you guys have responded terrifically. So I want to say thank you to all my most recent patrons. These are from a few weeks now because there's been a backlog and mess with videos, but a huge thank you to one, Kevin Griffith, Richard Hartzell, Celeste Sullenbrollis, Caleb Nufa, Sean Ravenfire, Stacey Lynn, Mike Craft Bro, Tapani Lingred, and Ryan N. Thank you guys all so much. Patreon is amazing. It warmed my heart seeing how many people have responded to that Patreon video. Thank you all so much. Our big goal is still $1,000 a month on Patreon. We're pretty close to it. We're at about $800 or so, I think. It's gone down a little bit because there were some people who wonderfully donated $100 and understandably they dropped it down. That's completely fine. You can literally donate $1 1 month and I'm still thankful for that. Donate however much you can for however long you can. But when we hit $1,000 a month, I'm going to do a big video explaining how all the states of the USA got their names as well as their popular nicknames. So if you want to see that video, help support the channel and just be fantastic. Patreon.com/NameExplained. They'll be listed down below. Thank you. But Patreon isn't the only way you can help support Name Explained financially. There's also Super Thanks. Super Thanks can be left directly in the comment section of any of my videos here on YouTube, and they help out amazingly too. If you don't want to commit to a monthly donation but still want to financially help support Name Explained, that's a great way to do it. And I want to say a huge thanks to my most recent Super Thanks leavers: one, Austin Moon, Owen Limmeyer 6126, and Sea of Whiskey. Thank you guys all so much. If you want to become a patron, if you want to just leave a super thanks, if you want to just carry on watching and subscribing and liking, it all helps out. Thank you. Let's carry on with this video, shall we? Back to those nicknames I was hinting about. The 4p coin was also known as a groat, which sounds vaguely rude for some reason. Like, you kicked me in the groat. Why does that sound so rude? Why did I say that? Is that gonna get this video demonetized? Is you gonna be like, you said groat? Groat's a rude word. Maybe you should beep it out or something. I don't know. Something about the word groat just rubs me the wrong way. This word actually relates to an older coin used in Britain's medieval past, where it was once one of the largest coins in the currency, and it's from this largeness as to where it gets the name. Groat comes from the old French gros, which means large/great, once again in relation to its massive size. This 4p piece was also known as a joey as well, in honour of British MP Joseph Hume, who helped introduce the coin to the nation. So a joey or a groat, I don't know. Joey seems fine, like that sounds like a little baby kangaroo. A groat, not so much. It makes me feel unwell. The 6p piece, however, had the nickname of a tanner. We aren't entirely sure as to why they were called this, but Wikipedia claims the name may come from one John Sigismund Tanner, a coin engraver who helped design many coins here in the UK, which makes sense, I suppose. And finally, we arrive at the shilling, which as mentioned is made up of 12 pennies, or 2 sixpences, or 4 threepences, or 12 pennies, yeah, or how many farthings would it make up? I don't know, I can't do that maths right now and I need to read the script. Shilling is perhaps the most well-known of the old British money terms. Where the word comes from, however, we don't seem to be too sure. One of the most popular theories comes from an old root meaning to cut or separate. This would be due to the fact that it is a separate part of a whole pound. A pound, as mentioned, could be separated into 20 separate shillings. When the shilling was first introduced into the UK, however, they were known as testoons, which is thought to come from an old Italian name for a different coin, the testone. I guess it's pronounced the testone, because Italian, man, they just love pronouncing that E on the end. Friendly reminder, French, never pronounce the E on the end. Italian, go for it. Any kind of vowel, any kind of letter, just go with it with its pronunciation in Italian, because it's probably pronounced in some way, shape or form, unlike French. I'm not an expert in either language, but, you know, seems pretty legit. Seems pretty legit. Can't even speak English properly. Then why are you listening to me? There was also a coin that represented 2 shillings, and it was called a florin. This name is also of Italian origins too. The name sounds similar to the name of the Italian city of Florence, and that's because the coins were named after the city, as initially they were created from gold mined nearby to Florence. The florins, however, also had the affectionate name of a 2-bob bit. The 2 in this name makes sense, it was worth 2 shillings, and the bit part comes from the fact that it was part of a larger thing. The bob part is interesting, however. Bob is a word that has survived in British money too. A phrase like, it's only a couple of bob, meaning something's only just a few pounds, has lived on to this day. A single shilling was also known as just a bob. The most popular theory on why we use the word bob in British money is that it comes from Robert Walpole, a former Prime Minister of the UK and Chancellor of the Exchequer. And then we had the crown coin. This was worth 5 shillings, and if you had 4 of these, you had 1 whole pound on your hands. We're finally reaching a pound, guys, we made it. Crown is a word that has a long history with money. Even modern currencies like the krona relate to the word crown. Crown as a word unto itself comes from a root meaning head, and the fact that money was named crowns is probably due to the fact that most coins throughout history has featured someone's head on them, more often than not wearing, an actual crown, because kings and queens, and they love their crowns and whatnot, so that's where the money name most likely comes from. And beyond the crown, we had terms like pound, which line up with modern British currency, which kind of brings us up to speed, but as I'm sure you can see, old British money was pretty weird, and so were their names. But let me know if you were around when this was still a thing, and what memories you may have of this old money. There's some really great footage from like the BBC archive of people getting ready for Decimal Day, and them interviewing like these old people being like, oh, they found online this new money, so that's fascinating. I always love that stuff. Amber, I might send that to you so you can play some right now.
This is a pamphlet I received this morning, and it tells you how to convert your wages, when decimal currency comes in. And it's got 0, 3, 4.
Also, please suggest a topic down below which we could cover in next Monday's Name Explain video. It could be about literally anything, and the topic can be as niche or broad as you like. I will then choose 3 of those topics and place them in a poll exclusively for my patrons to vote on. Then the winner from that poll will be the topic covered in next Monday's Name Explain video. You can vote in that poll as well as enjoy many other great benefits by visiting patreon.com/Name Explain, which will be linked down below, and by donating just $1 a month. Thank you. Anyway, that's more than enough from myself, but don't forget to go follow on Instagram where I'm Name Explain YT, and don't forget to join the Facebook page Friends of Name Explain, where you can chat with myself and many other name nerds. Okay all, take care. I feel like the lighting's really good so far. I don't know what I've done differently, but it just looks nice and clear and everything's in, yeah, it looks good. Oh, I know why, it's because I've been tinkering about and I've whacked the ISO up. So I need to say, hey penny, how penny, hey penny, hapenny. I'll figure it out. When read aloud, because they're wonderful, and a huge thanks to my blah 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 blah. Let's try that again. Bob in British money is that it comes off. So again, because my throat's giving up on me. We're done. Cool. That should work.